Hey guys, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I want to talk to you about something that you probably haven't heard much about, but it is very common, and that is hemochromatosis, iron overload. I want to talk to you about my top 5 things you can do to naturally start getting your iron levels under control. Before I get into it, I just want to talk to you a little bit about hemochromatosis because it does occur in 1 in 100 men generally in the Western world. It's really of Northern European descent. So given the way we were colonized here in Australia, it is quite common throughout Australia. In fact, we see people all the time with hemochromatosis, and it's often missed in bloods because there's very little understood about it. So one of the key issues that happens with hemochromatosis, if you're a male, generally we start seeing issues with hemochromatosis in the men in their 40s, women possibly not until their 50s or 60s, just because women lose so much iron through menstruation every month that men don't lose. So it needs to accumulate to a certain level before we start noticing issues with it in men. Some of the early signs with it are heart palpitations or joint pain, arthritic type patterns, simply because the iron tends to accumulate in those areas. The big issue with iron overload though is poor regulation of a substance known as hepcidin, and hepcidin is a molecule produced by the liver which controls the gating of iron absorption in the gut. And we know there's a lot of drugs being developed at the moment that are all about trying to alter hepcidin for control of anemia as well. So here's my top 5 things to look for when we're dealing with iron overload in patients. So number 1 is turmeric. Yes, turmeric, you might know turmeric because of its anti-inflammatory properties, but what we do know is that curcumin does have an effect on hepcidin, does elevate it, which helps control the absorption of iron, and it does have a protective nature in terms of the liver as well, which is really the organ that gets really seriously damaged with iron overload. With that in mind, the second one is milk thistle or St. Mary's thistle. Milk thistle works really well with it. The silymarin that's within it tends to help with hepcidin and help with protecting the liver itself and improving liver function. Artichoke, which is of a similar family, can also have similar effects with it. Third one is soy genistein. Soy genistein is a phytonutrient, and this phytonutrient again has been shown to increase hepcidin and help control the absorption of iron through the gut. But once it's in there and it's creating havoc for you, then we really need to get the iron out. And generally the rule is phlebotomy, in other words, donating blood on a regular basis to bring it down. But there are a couple of ways that we know that we can bring iron down naturally, which works really well. And the big one, the number one that does this is inositol hexaphosphate, IP6. Inositol hexaphosphate is phenomenal. It's an amazing chelator. There's a lot of research coming out on IP6 now and its role in cancers and malignancies and things like this, and stimulating the immune system, blood glucose control, things like this. But one of the things IP6 does is it does pull iron out along with a whole lot of other minerals, and by doing so we can use that to actually chelate iron and keep iron levels under control, and it works quite well. We've used it quite frequently in our office here with people with hemochromatosis to quite a high level of success. There is some early research coming out with it as well in regards to that, but IP6 is one that we do know chelates iron. The other one is something you may not have heard of, and that's a substance known as icarin. And icarin is the substance that's been shown to potentially remove iron storage out of bone, so it may help with arthritis. And we have found a few people with heavy hemochromatosis that's been missed early on, where using icarin has basically helped reduce the iron arthritis within their joints as well. The richest source of icarin around that we know of is the herb horny goat weed. That might sound a bit more familiar to you. Alright, so they're my top 5 things to start trying to reduce your iron levels. Turmeric, genistein, milk thistle or globe artichoke, icarin and IP6. So there are a few different things you can do. There's a lot of information coming out now on hemochromatosis and potential ways that we can influence it. We're seeing a lot of that stuff coming through our office here at the moment too. So if you do have any questions at all, please just post them up. If you want to know more about any of those products, please post them up. Happy to get information out to you on any of those things. If not, I'm Trevor Chikiti from SpineWise, and I'll see you in the next vid. Bye for now.